What's up guys, welcome back to TV and Off-Road. Today we're installing the Outta Hand Fab 2-door seat brackets for PRP seats. We've got some beautiful new seats here for the JK, and we also got some SFI certified rotary style harnesses. There's nothing on the internet, from what I can understand, on how to install these 2-door seat brackets. They're kind of new to the industry, so super excited to show you those, and I'm excited to see how they fit. Let's get after it. Okay, I've already painted everything. It obviously comes raw steel. I went ahead and opted for the additional side brackets. The brackets here on the right actually raise the seat up 1.5 inches above factory. The ones on the left will give you a factory height, and then you can actually mount these without any side brackets if you're really tall to actually lower the seat. So I know with my factory seat brackets over there, as you can see on my old seats, I sat way too high. So excited to see how these fit in there. They also have some seat cant adjustment as well, so you can kind of tilt the seat forward and backwards. So everything's painted up. I let it dry overnight. We'll go ahead and start assembly. Okay, the first step, once you've located the driver side brackets, is to go ahead and set them in place over the factory holes. We'll just kind of snug down the factory hardware, but don't completely tighten them. That way we can adjust later. Hardware's in, and Outta Hand gives you some great colorized instructions as well. So looks like the next step, we're going to move on to the sliders. Okay, we've got all kinds of hardware here. Just kind of sift through that and find your carriage bolts. We're going to have to kind of slide these a little bit out of the way so we can get to the holes. We'll slide the carriage bolts in, and then that's the step. Okay, these guys go through. FYI, it's a little greasy from the sliders, but pull that up. Slide the slider back through without pinching your fingers. Then that guy goes in. There we go. Okay, there's one. All right, this side should be a little bit easier because we've got the handle. There's two. We'll slide this back. All right, sliders are ready. Okay, next we're going to install the sliders. These little rubber feet come off, and you're left with the actual stud. The lever goes on the inside and facing forward. You've got adjustable holes. I'm just going to use the middle holes. Drops right in. Okay, now we'll put the hardware on the back side and tighten that down. 5/16 nylock and washer. 1/2 inch wrench or socket. All right, ratcheting 1/2 inch. Okay, I misread just a little bit. They had you set these in. I don't have any carpet in here, obviously, and they originally have you set these in to trim the carpet from where the new brackets will be. I went ahead and already put the hardware in, so these will be a lot easier to install if you do them with these out of the Jeep. So now we're going to go ahead and tighten these down a little bit. The distance between the carriage bolts should be 12 inches. So I'll get them kind of snug, but should still be able to bump these around so we can adjust it if we need to. Okay, so everything's tightened up. We are, it's hard to do with one hand, right at 12 inches. And right at 12 inches. So I think that's pretty good. We still can tighten it up here in a little bit. Okay, now we've got the side L brackets and the crossover bracket. They slide on to the carriage bolts we installed earlier and then go on with nylocks and washers. So I've got all this snugged up. I verified these were still about 12 inches apart this way. And then I'm going to do factory height on this seat. So these are the shorter side plates. These side plates will mount right here with the 3/8 hardware. You guys see that the 3 holes in the back allow for the seat cant. That goes in the back. So I'm just going to start with the middle hole and see what it feels like. We can always adjust it later. Washer on both sides, and then a nylock. And these go on the outside of those L brackets. We'll go ahead and tighten that down. 9/16 for these. Okay, now we're going to actually mount the seat, tighten it up. We'll adjust the final orientation of these, tighten down the carriage bolts, then take the seat back off and put the cable in for the slider. And these seats should orient on that side of the L brackets. It looks like I need to bump that far bracket forward a little bit. Okay, it is in the middle hole, so we're good. Okay, so I'm going to tighten all this down to the seat, and then I will do the final tighten on these bolts, and honestly probably the base bolts too, and just get everything right where I want it. Okay, I made the mistake of, since I already had PRP seats, I was using the bolts I used from the last seat, and they're designed for stock brackets and they're way too long. So I'm going to pull those out and use the actual provided hardware that Outta Hand Fab sent, and if I would have read the directions, I probably would have got there. Much better. Okay, Outta Hand actually gave us nuts that are not lock nuts for this exact reason, so you don't have to smoke a lock nut. I'm just trying to get this tight. So I'll go ahead and tighten these up and then kind of get everything set. All right. Everything is tight. We'll go ahead and snug down these bolts. I'll snug down the base, and then hopefully that's it. We'll take the seat back off. Okay, before I kind of finalize everything, I want to go ahead and sit in it and see if I like the cant. Obviously I can't slide it right now, but we'll just see what the height feels like and go from there. Yeah, this is factory height, so that's awesome. Yeah, I think that's going to be it. Nice and solid. Honestly, I'm pretty level right now. I don't feel like my butt's too low or too high, so there's definitely adjustability there if I ever want to, but yeah, this is factory ride height. This is awesome. All right, we'll go ahead and tighten everything down. We'll take the seat off, put the slider mechanism on, and then put the seat back on for the final time. And guys, for comparison's sake, this is at the factory height. So if I measure off the floor to the bottom of the seat, it's about 10 3/8 of an inch. The far side I measured with the old seat, which are both PRP seats. That side's at 11, so we're already lower. It sits awesome. Okay, a couple last things. The last step in actually installing the sliding mechanism is to connect this cable through the back hole of the lever and then this hole on the outboard side. They give you these little clamps to kind of slide it through and then pinch it off. I think it's a 7 millimeter nut on those. Okay, the last thing I wanted to show you guys, this is the heated seat wiring for my PRP seats. But in order to not have a seatbelt light or an ABS light, airbag light, some people have soldered some connections together, some have moved modules. I basically just took the stock seatbelt off the stock bracket. It was just one bolt, maintained all the wiring harness for factory. And then I also took this bracket off for the airbag sensor. I am just going to kind of zip tie everything underneath the seat, but I did test this and I do not have any lights. So that's kind of a quick and dirty way to not have any dash lights. So I'll go ahead and tighten this up and we'll test the slider. Okay, so now that that cable is attached and you pull this, I'll pull the other side. I can't slide it with one hand, but you kind of get the gist. This does have some slop in it. I got that pretty much as tight as I possibly could, and then the first pull of that, it just kind of loosened up. So if I have issues with it, I'll just keep trying to tighten this up, but I got these pretty much as tight as I could get them. The other thing I did that I don't think I mentioned is I did actually paint the sliders. The more I looked at them, I thought they were aluminum, but they're actually steel, so they would have just rusted. So painted those, and then I also installed the new harnesses that I just got. And they do give you a submarine mount right here. It looks like there's nothing in the directions about it, but they do give you a bigger bolt, a lock nut, and then this bushing. So the way I could figure it, you slid that in, the bushing itself went on the underside to kind of brace the whole bolt itself, so it wasn't wobbling back and forth. So I'm going to install that. I might have to drop that in through the seat from the top and then put that on once the seat's on, but I don't think that'll be too big of a deal. So there you go. Okay, passenger side, the lever actually goes outboard, so it's a little different than the driver. Went ahead and mounted these this time with the brackets disconnected. It was a lot easier. Didn't have to get a stubby wrench in there. So those are tightened down. We'll put the L brackets and the cross member on now. L brackets and cross member are on. We're moving on to the side plates. My wife is short and likes to sit up high, so we're going to put the extended side plates on the passenger side. Sides are on. Time to test fit the seat. All right, seats test fit. We've got everything tightened down, so I'll go ahead and pull the seat and put the slider cable on. All right, cable's on, slider works. We'll throw the seat on for the last time. I did the same thing on this side where I removed the factory seat belt, and the passenger side has the weight sensor. I can slide this into my cushion of my seat. Everything will just be zip tied underneath. There you go, passenger side's done. Guys, if you haven't checked them out yet, go check out Outta Hand Fab. They're making some really cool stuff. It's not just sliders. They've got armor, bumpers, rocker, sliders, all kinds of stuff. I'm really excited to see what else these guys put out soon. So super happy with the product. If you guys got any questions for me, drop it in the comments. Thanks for watching.